Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Ramblemancy. Jake out here with the finger guns before I could get there.
Look, I promised the people there would be more finger guns. So I had to come out of the gate, straight out of the gate with the finger gun.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, we're here with our special last-minute guest, Jake Kyle.
Amazing.
This is my favorite way that we have ever gotten a
Me too.
Ramblemancy guest, and I don't know that we will ever top this.
No, I don't think it was great.
When are you coming back? Do you want to come back tonight? But seriously, please do.
Put me on your show, cowards. How about tonight? Let's do it.
Down to cloud. Let's go. Look. I don't know what to tell you. I was like, yeah, I haven't gone on in a while. I was like, I wonder what those fools are up to. So that's literally what it was.
Yeah. Well, hello and welcome, everyone. It's awesome to have you all here. I saw Geek Outs with all the flaming goblins. Hello, and Hermes, hi. Hessen, welcome. Orange, good to see you. I also saw First Clone followed us. Thank you so much for the follow, Clone. Good to see you. Vertiman, hello. 24
2 whole
months.
years.
That's 2 years of subscription, my dude.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. I feel like I should take this opportunity to mention that Vertiman, in addition to having subscribed to us for 2 whole years, is also currently our only legendary supporter on Patreon. And holy shit, thank you so much.
What is a legendary on Patreon? What do you get? What do you get?
You get a vanity title. Legendary supporter is basically like if it doesn't offer any additional rewards, but what it does is like if you want to help support more than like the top tier, you can.
See, I thought it was one of those like joke tiers that you like, you put at the very end where you're like, look, we'll take you out to dinner to Applebee's or we'll take you to Olive Garden, get free breadsticks, but it's like $5 million to do it,
right.
Maybe
we should consider having one of those on.
You really should. And the price of a plane ticket monthly,
right?
And
yeah. Oh my gosh, Nico, 35 months.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Also, thank y'all for the hype train. We have barely gotten off of the start screen.
We haven't even gotten into our announcements yet. Hi, everybody.
Which we do actually have a super sick announcement. So get your hype going for that.
If we were going to have a hype train on any episode, like at least it was this one, right? Where the hype should be happening. But yeah, thank you everybody. I still am like floored by the fact that like we've been affiliates for so long.
Wow.
Like it feels like it happened like yesterday, or like a few months ago. And then I see things like Nico subscribing for 35 months, like that we've had that many months. Like it's wild.
Had a sub button for that long?
Yeah. Paula Bianca, thank
bananas.
you so much for the follow. Hello. Welcome.
Like it was wild to me to also being at Gen Con this year and being like, oh yeah, no, I was here with Lucas and Freeman 3 years ago in 2019. I'm like, whoa, we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Hermes has an excellent suggestion for our tier. For $700 a month, you can stand outside John's window and they will throw you stale muffins. So
yeah, absolutely. I'll slide the window open, pull the screen out, and then boop, just pop a muffin down to you.
Stale muffins. Those are awful hard sometimes, I hear.
Yeah, bring a hard hat. You're gonna want to bring a hard hat just in case.
Look, it's on them though. Like you can't
right.
be in charge of having to bring them safety supplies. You're only paying $700. Okay,
Good point.
Wait, listen, we don't provide hard hats for anything less than $1,500 a month. So.
How do ours get switched around? Hold on.
How did what get what? Oh, look at that.
Ours got switched around somehow. We're gonna do this. I don't know how this happened. I don't know what.
While Lucas is talking about that, can I tell you the wonders of Video Ninja and that you have not moved to it yet? What is wrong with you? You need to move to Video Ninja.
Listen. I have only a certain amount of bandwidth to learn new things. and I'm really trying here.
Look,
but you're
no,
right.
no, no.
Zoom is pissing me off, so I'm trying really hard. Their whole like moving stuff around feature, moving screens around, just doesn't work.
Whoa.
I'm trying really hard, and it's not working.
I do enjoy watching.
I'm just trying to react to it.
I know. I'm trying.
Everybody else just like, wee!
Oh God!
While Lucas is frustrated with this, I will tell you what's really great about it is that each on your and on OBS's end, each person is their own browser.
Yeah.
And so you can actually even if someone like logs out, it just turns into a black screen. It's got its own look at that.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Subs. There you go.
Oh
Hassan,
my
thank
God.
you so much for the 5 gifted subs, and that puts us at level 2 on the hype train.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you so much for those subs. It is September, so 30% off of I think it's
20,
I can't remember.
20%.
20%. Is it?
I don't know.
Sure.
I'm looking and it says 20% off. It says resub 20% off, but it says celebrate September with a new sub up to 30% off. Let me click the learn more button. What is up to? 1 month is 20, 3 months is 25, and 6 months subs is 30% off.
Oh,
So
wow. Interesting. Are gift subs actually discounted this month even?
gift a sub. No,
Of course.
it is not.
Of course not. Of course not. Why would that?
They did that for a couple of years and it was hugely popular, and now they've done this, and I'm just like, what?
Well, I mean, I don't know what you. I mean, other than your announcement, I don't know what y'all have planned to talk about. But I would definitely love to talk about some of the leaked Twitch stuff that came out. If any of y'all know.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not privy to this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that could be juicy.
Yeah. There's some very interesting things. It has definitely made it so that Queuetimes as a whole has like been having murmurs of whether or not we're gonna stay on Twitch. You know, there has been some very interesting conversations there, but I think Lucas has given up on Zoom and has instead...
I did. I instead just went and switched them around on OBS.
Oh my God. Meanwhile, in chat, oh my God.
Holy
thank you.
Shit.
Hello.
Steve, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Nico, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs.
Oh my God.
What level are we at? I don't know. There's a bunch of ribbons in chat, and so things are going fast.
confetti.
4. It says level 4.
Level 4 complete. All right. Wow. Thank you so much, everyone, for this amazing display of support.
5. It says level 5. You're at 130%.
Holy crap.
All right.
Hello.
Also, I just want to say, Paula Bianca, hello. This first time watch, hi Jake, is already super useful for the VOD Ninja name drop, or Video Ninja name drop. Yeah, absolutely. Jake is a font of production
do as
wisdom.
Jake says, and not as we do.
Right.
I can tell. I feel like this whole intro to this episode of Ramblemancy has been a cautionary tale as to why you should not do things the way that we do things.
Okay. You've got announcements and you've got things to say, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
We do. Okay, so those of you who've been here for the last couple of weeks for Ramblemancy have heard us teasing gradually that there are things coming later this year. Many of you know that we sort of like put our main sort of flagship, our actual play Infinite Horizon on kind of an indefinite hiatus for now to kind of make room for other sort of creative stuff that we have got going on, as well as the chaotic schedule that our lives are going to take over the next few months. But one of those things that is coming, which we are now very happy that we get to announce, is the last several years during Spooky Month, we've always wanted to do stuff, but planning got away from us, and it was all of a sudden it was October, and we had nothing in our pockets. But this year we decided to plan ahead. I am very excited to announce to all of you. Hold on, let me scroll down so I can just put it on the screen real quick. very excited to announce that this year we will be doing, and actually patrons got this information already, so many people in chat already know about this.
They have been in the loop all week.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a Kids on Bikes actual play in October. That is basically like zombie apocalypse. Kids on Bikes. It's called Tomorrow is Dead. It's on the screen right now, the promo image that we have. Tomorrow is Dead, about a group of teens who many of whom have just graduated from high school and are on sort of a camping trip to round out sort of the last hurrah at the end of the summer before many of them go off places. And they have their camping trip rudely interrupted by the apocalypse and then have to figure out how to cope with that. So, yeah, that's what we have. So that will be airing in October, beginning October, Monday, October 3rd, and ending Monday, October 31st. So we will be having those. They will be, now here's the important piece of information. Because we are going to be scheduling these, they're pre-recorded, we're scheduling them ahead of time. They will be airing, like premiering live on YouTube, not on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Rule of Lore YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, you should. That's where this is going to be.
Hint.
Yeah. Get in there. So that's going to be happening. But as an additional treat for you tonight, we also have the title sequence that I'm very excited. I've been sitting on this for a couple months now, and I'm very excited to finally get to show it to you. So I'm going to show you right now. We're going to switch over, and I'm going to show you the title sequence for Tomorrow is Dead, which will also sort of serve as like a little like sort of informal cast reveal. But don't worry, we'll have a more formal one later. So here we go. Without any further ado, we're going to show you this. Here we go. Do it. So yeah, that was our title sequence, which, yeah, I'm very excited about that. I've been sitting on that forever, and so.
Oh, I was hearing double all of a sudden.
Oh,
I was still watching.
Yep. So yeah, no, I'm very excited to I'm very excited for everything that we've been recording the last few weeks, and I'm very excited to be on some of our actual play content again.
Yeah. Let me just tell you, like, I think about this. I think about this a while back with like. I remember seeing Brennan Lee Mulligan tweet about Abria from EXU Calamity, about how like Abria was like somebody who was like the epitome of understanding the assignment. And I feel like with Tomorrow is Dead, I have just an entire cast of Abrias in that respect. Like, this is a whole group of people who understood the assignment, and you're gonna feel pain, is what I'm telling you. Raw emotional pain. And I promise you, I had nothing to do with it this time. It wasn't
true.
me. It was all the players. So I'm very excited for people to get to see this. So yeah.
I'm gonna sip my lemonade.
So
I just want I fucking love zombies. So I'm so happy that you're doing a zombie game.
Me too.
Yep. Same.
You will laugh, you will cry, you will sob, you will weep, you will wallow. Exactly, Vertiman. 100%. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for people to get to see this. So once again, did we say 6 p.m.? Is that what it says on the poster?
Yes. 6 p.m.
6 p.m. October 3rd, Monday, October 3rd. The first one will be right here. Wow, it sounds so good. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Well, what an entry. Love it.
Speak of the devil, and she appears.
Yeah. Yeah, so Allison, one of the players in this game. I'm very, very excited for people to get to see this. So yeah,
Mhm.
October, the entire month of October, you will be able to see these Mondays on, once again, our YouTube, and they will be live premiere, so you'll still be able to like have, chat live and all that kind of stuff. You may even see a few of us, those of us who are not in the middle of chaos, in the chat at points. So you should check it out. That's it. That is the announcement. Truly, like so.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, another just a quick announcement about schedule. We've been sort of ambiguous about next Friday and whether or not we will be streaming Ramblemancy, and I'm here to say that we will not be here next Friday. There's just too many things going on, and so we're probably not going to be able to make it work. So this will be our last Twitch stream until late October, November, early November, somewhere in there. If you want to see us, we will still be in our Discord where you can reach us and chat with us in there. People hanging out periodically in there, and of course, Tomorrow is Dead coming this October. Okay, that's the end of this exceptionally long intro. We haven't even started the episode yet. Like we were just here like vibing and announcing. So
Thank y'all. By the way, the hype train has concluded, and thank you everyone who threw bits and subs and everything tonight. We are so very appreciative
Absolutely.
of y'all turnout and hanging out and supporting us all of the years that we have been doing this. And it feels weird to use years as a
Yep.
like a quantity of time there.
Yeah.
Years is in fact a measurement of time. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with that, really. I don't know. I'm even more uncomfortable with being able to measure anything in my life with decades, which is really that one's uncomfortable.
That one's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
So good.
So yeah. Lucas, what do we have tonight?
God damn it.
Whoa! Whoa!
Role reversal.
That bus, I didn't. Wow. Okay.
John pulling some judo shit with the bus throwing today.
Yeah.
Truly. I was like, Lucas hasn't thrown me under the bus yet. You know what? I'm gonna get in the wheel.
I at any given moment have a lot of things that I want to discuss. Today, I just don't. I think I've most of the things I want to talk about, like I've just spent the whole week talking about them with other people, like off stream, that I've sort of like run out of steam on some of those things. So like
we do need a bus Twitch him out.
That's true.
Okay, so well then let's talk about the Twitch leaks.
Stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the first couple of things, there was a leak that came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a leak. It's it's not true. It's not true." And then things started happening off of the leak list, and it was like, "Oh, okay." A bunch of this isn't the leak. This part's just factual. A bunch of the higher ups within Twitch have left, as of recently. They're looking at changing partnership monetization to 50-50 instead of 70-30, which is what it currently is right now. They're looking at they're looking at dropping it to 50-50 between the two, which is rough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be real interesting. There's also like a kind of like a lot of pressure, it seems like, coming from Amazon, because Twitch isn't making as much money as they were hoping them to make, and they spent a lot of money buying Twitch. So there's a lot of really undertones and rumbling going on about Twitch that's going on, and a lot of people are kind of being wary. And then YouTube is coming out and is starting to do a lot of things to assist with things, right? So they've got membership, which is like whatever, like it's basically their version of subs, right? Oh, you can be a member. The breakdown is actually not that bad. So I realized that Queuetimes actually has 3 members. We have 3 people that are spending money, and we make $10.50 off of that. So the amount of money, is not bad.
$7.50 on Twitch.
Yeah.
Right, because you get half.
Right. Yeah.
As an affiliate, at least.
Yeah, we're not partners because they refuse to allow us to be partners, even though we're technically in the top 5% of you. Actually, we're in the top 2.5% of streamers, or at least we were when the big huge leak came out.
Right.
We actually looked at it. We were actually in like we were in the top, and they still deny us partnership. Yeah. It's a thing. But yeah, anyways, what I was saying is, so we only have 3 members on YouTube, and it's a 10.5% breakdown between that. We realized that we only need to make like about half of our current sub count to equal out the full amount of money we make from Twitch in a month.
Wow.
So half as many members, and that counts bits, that counts ads, that counts like all that's just in membership. So if we manage to get 50% of the people that currently sub to YouTube, we would have the exact same amount that we make off of everything off of Twitch.
Wow.
And YouTube has significantly better discoverability with the way that their algorithm work versus Twitch's, which is like, yo, you have to you as a user have to click and search what you want to look for. You know what I mean? Like the discoverability is basically on Twitch is, hey, build an audience somewhere else and bring it here, right? Versus YouTube, which is it's pumping it and pushing it out to people. And then if they're already subscribed to you, it shows that you're live. And so you get more people going, oh, they're live. Maybe I'll catch them right now.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I remember, and this is sort of not directly relevant to that, but I remember thinking about like when we were first just trying to decide what platform we were going to use when we were starting this, we were like the common refrains, right? Where like people would always say about YouTube that it was corporate and scummy, and then Twitch was just clicky. And honestly, after having been here for a couple of years, I realized I think I would take corporate and scummy over what.
But I mean, it's also kind of corporate and scummy now.
It is.
That's the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that both platforms, like, YouTube, at the end of the day, YouTube is a advertisement company, right? Because that's where they make all of their money, is through advertisements. And so their main goal is to do advertisement, which is inherently corporate, right? But now Twitch is owned by Amazon, which already feels a little bit yucky, right? Because you're like, oh, well, I'm kind of supporting like a lot of things that I personally disagree with. Yeah. But like, okay, I'm gonna close my eyes to that because I'm trying to make my own money too, right? Like we're all in our own hardship. And so you kind of do that, and then you're realizing that they're doing these like really scummy things. It's like, okay, we're gonna drop here's the list to become affiliate, or here's our list to become partner, but you still have to apply. It's not an automatic thing.
Yeah. And then there's like a secret list of criteria that like you don't get to see.
Yeah, which is absolutely inferior. And that's one of the biggest issues with us is like, well, okay, great. Can you just tell us what the full list is? Because then we won't bug you until we have those numbers or have those things. But
literally saving yourselves time.
And YouTube's literally like, oh, hey, here's our rules. As soon as it happens, just click this button and you're good. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, this is. And then they've also reduced a lot of their restriction. Originally, you had to have 100 subs to go live. Now you can go live with 0 subs, but you can. I think it's just mobile. You can't mobily go live until you have 100 subs, which that's fine, whatever. But yeah, it's just this really interesting like dichotomy of like where you want to go. What are you looking for? Are you looking for like maximum monetization? Then sure, Twitch is probably your place to go, but you have to bring your audience from a different place, versus YouTube, which is, hey, this is an audience growing platform, and like this is how we find your niche. You know,
I think this is also a very good point Hermes said in the chat. YouTube is more stable for me too. I hate watching VODs on Twitch, and that has literally always been the case. Is one of the reasons why we've started migrating all of our like archive to Twitch, or to YouTube from Twitch, because like Twitch is an acceptable platform for watching live stream but like when you try to do like watch any VODs or like go back and watch like the older videos, it's a nightmare to navigate. It is a nightmare. Like it is organization in terms of optimization of the platform. Like it's all just it's a nightmare.
Like, and there's zero discoverability for any like videos afterwards. If you want to watch a VOD, you have to go to the person's page, go to their videos, go to the right category, find it, and then click on it. You know, like those aren't pushed out anywhere because like it's I guess you're only supposed to be watching live streams, but then again, that's because Twitch doesn't have any way to monetize people watching VODs, so they don't want to incentivize it, right?
Well, and not only that, the problem is like a lot of people gave us flack because the start of this year, we decided that we were going to make all of our VODs sub only. And the reason for that is we were pushing people to YouTube, and people were like, oh, that you're just doing that for money. I'm like, no. I'm like, I was like, we don't make as much money on YouTube as we make on Twitch. But the reason we're doing that is one, it's a better platform. I have more information because I've got actual analytics to the video to see, okay, hey, I realize that a lot of people are discovering this video and ending within the first 5 seconds. Why are they discovering it? Maybe I'm tagging it wrong, or how do I get other people to recognize this better, right?
Yeah.
And I get analytics, I get information, I can see a lot of stuff. And then Twitch monetizes VODs and doesn't fucking tell you and doesn't give you any cut of it. So like, why should I give Twitch more money when I'm doing the work? Because as an affiliate, it doesn't automatically go to VOD. It sits there for a week or two and then gets put away. So to keep it, you have to snip it and do this all this other work to get it to stay. And so it's like I'm doing all this extra work to get nothing out of it. And it's like, guys, YouTube is right there. It's significantly better, and it's like a solid platform. Like, just it's not that difficult. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, like I think we've been making more and more use of YouTube since we started putting videos over there. We've started to do more and more stuff. I think this is like Tomorrow is Dead, I think is like the most we will have used YouTube as. I think it's the only time we've ever used it as like a main content platform. Like prior to this, we've mostly been using it as an archive more than anything else. An easier way to find our VODs, but like, I don't know. We haven't even done it yet, and I kind of already like it better. Like,
yeah, no.
Like the fact, like one of the biggest things is when Twitch got rid of premieres. That's when, for me, I was just like, okay, this is not going a good direction.
Yes, they got rid of premieres, which was absolutely aggravating. And then there was a couple other things that Twitch has been doing, and it's just making it harder and harder for content creators to just do their stuff. And then YouTube, while it still definitely has some problems, it has been significantly better about slowly working in and improving its platform. You know what I mean? And to me, Twitch doesn't feel like it's improving its platform. Twitch feels like it's trying to better monetize its platform. You know?
Yeah. No, it's like right now our main content manager on Twitch is Freeman. So Freeman's the one who's usually, if you've watched a VOD on Twitch, probably it's because Freeman took the time to like go through and save it. So but like that's still like it's not that much, but it's a load when you're doing it for like at like two or more shows a week. You know, it then ends up becoming like it's cumulative. Like it accumulates and it just becomes like this, and for really no benefit, because nobody likes watching VODs on Twitch.
If you're a solo streamer, it's kind of the same way, right? Like if you're streaming 3 times a week, then like that's highlighting your 3 streams a week, like, or making sure, like, to make sure that anybody who does want to go back and watch first, or if you want to come back and watch them later down the road to like check out things that you did, or like look for things to improve, like that's all stuff. Or if somebody's like, hey, what is this a reference to? Why are you guys so obsessed with goblins? And I'm like, please go watch these Stardew Valley streams and you'll understand. Like, you know, if I want those to continue existing for longer than 14 days, I have to spend, 30 minutes a week going through and systematically like, doing all of that. And I don't see like any return on that, apart from people being able to maybe look at them at some point.
Right. Also, hi Cole, welcome, hello.
Have any of you streamed on YouTube yet? Like actually
No.
streamed?
Tried it.
That is kind of what we're doing with Tomorrow is Dead. That's more of like a schedule and release sort of thing.
Yeah.
We've not live streamed on YouTube yet.
So YouTube does this really cool thing that will I guarantee you will stump you once or twice, because it has done this to me, which is when you go live from OBS, what it does is it sends it to your YouTube channel and it sends it to your dashboard, and you can test that you're actually live, but you still have to hit the go live button on the dashboard of YouTube before you go live.
Interesting.
Which I like, because then you can test your system, make sure your audio is working, make sure everything's good on your dashboard, that everyone's receiving it. But it because I'm so used to Twitch where, oh God, I better have 100% everything go, and then, pray that it's working, and inevitably everyone can hear everyone else but me, or something stupid that ends up happening, right?
What that's never happened. Never. To me. What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Jake.
Of course, I don't do that regularly on my own personal streams.
But YouTube will show you your stream, and so you can actually you can go live, you can check your stream out and go, okay, this is good, and then click the go live on the channel, which again, it throws you off because you're not used to it, but it's actually kind of a cool feature, and I like it.
Yeah, Cole used to be the producer for In Too Deep, so Cole also understands this.
Understand our suffering.
Yes.
Never have I ever.
Oh, that does remind me. God damn it! I knew I meant to We don't have I knew there was another announcement. We don't have a formal announcement about In Too Deep. All I will say about In Too Deep is that we are currently in talks with Colin and the rest of the In Too Deep crew about when and how In Too Deep will return. So if y'all have been sitting around waiting for In Too Deep, we're trying to figure it out. It's chaos over there. So
it's in the process.
So yeah, we're trying to make all the logistics work out properly. So yeah. Nico says, Twitch very much does not want people to watch VODs on the platform. Every action they have ever taken in the last few years has been specifically to optimize the platform for live viewer retention. Yeah, and that was like the move they made to include the to sort of total all of your the views on the thing was also a thing that was just a pain in the ass, because then you never knew from that point on what your VOD views were and what your live views were. It just sort of lumped them all together, and yeah, that made it so much harder to really get any useful information out of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why that they're I mean, I guess because they're looking at their analytics and seeing that people that watch live spend more money versus people that are watching VODs, but then supplement that with ads. You know what I mean? The fact is I can choose on a VOD how often ads get played on YouTube. Why isn't that a thing for this? Right. Also, one of the other things, I don't know if you saw this, but a part of that Twitch leak is they're trying to promote people to play ads regularly. And so I don't know if they've given you access to this, because they made it adamant on my channel, and then I got rid of it, which was ads being played every X amount of time, and it's automatic. You don't have a choice in it. It just plays.
Yeah.
So if you set that up to do 1 an hour, it will give you X, if you stream for, I think it was 10 hours a week, and you have an ad per hour, you'll get $100 for this. It's a bounty. And then it's if you do 4 ads an hour, I'm 4 ads an hour on live is fucking wild to me.
Yeah. Just have at that point, just have a bunch of ads playing constantly, and just cut the content creators out, which honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if that's a thing that they did at some point, in the far future of Twitch.
Well, and then Twitch, the thing that was leaked, but no one thought it was a leak, or thought it was a leak until it came true, was actually the fact that they have changed how you can stream, and the fact that before you weren't allowed to stream anywhere else, and your content wasn't allowed to be shown anywhere else within 24 hours of it being on Twitch. Now they're saying, oh, if you want to live stream on Instagram or TikTok, that's totally fine, but you can't do it on Facebook or YouTube. Like, yeah, it's interesting. And the reason for that is because they've been seeing a lot of people live streaming on TikTok and because it's TikTok and you have to stream on your phone to make TikTok's live streaming work, is it's literally just of them, but you can't see the game that they're playing, and behind them there's like a sticker that says like, watch me on Twitch, right? That's their live stream. And so they're like, oh yeah, they're pulling their TikTok audience onto their Twitch audience, so we want to make that legal, we want to make that like acceptable, because that's how we get more viewership, because we require all of our discoverability from other platforms.
Yeah,
it is just wild to me that Twitch is more or less built on, because like when I think about the things that, just like in terms of like actual things that foster actual community, all of that happens off of Twitch, right? Like the streamer being on camera for a few hours a week is like a fraction of what community actually is. Like, you know, seeing people like most like, and this is because I hang out a lot in Discords, like when I'm not online and when I'm not like actively working. And so like that's where most of the community engagement I find is actually taking place. And like, sure, there's a certain amount of that is maybe fueled or inspired by the presence of the streamer a few hours a week. But like, you know, that it's just baffling to me that Twitch has more or less built a platform off of that, instead of being like, how can we just bring more people here?
It's
so what a strange way to conduct business.
Build
an audience somewhere else and then bring it here so that we can monetize it.
Really, I mean, like that like yes, what you said, I was about to add on to it, and then like halfway through my sentence I was like, why do I need to add on? Like John said it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and put that way, it's really obvious to see like what a cynical fucking move that is.
Like I've been absorbing like the last few minutes of conversation. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, that's a
like it puts it just in like such stark perspective for me, where I'm just like, oh, this is curate a cult of personality so that we can profit off of it.
So okay, so let's take a step back from late stage capitalism, right? Okay.
Right.
I would love to do that, Jake. Several steps back, actually.
So one of the things I've been dabbling with, and I've been thinking about promoting with Queuetimes, is while I'm going to take the full VOD and put all of our VODs on YouTube, set them up so that there's no breaks and there's no ins or out. But one of the things I was thinking about promoting is telling people, like giving people full right and full, like maybe even access, maybe making a Google Drive where people can like download our VODs. And if they want to snip them or cut them and post them on their own YouTube channel and monetize them, like we will not stop it. Because then you can monetize, like if you are watching it already and you find things that you think are interesting or fun, that, you know, because we can only do so much, right? So the idea would be, okay, hey, if you want to take it and you want to make money off of the content we're creating, go for it, do it. But you're doing the work, so you should be making the money. And so I like, that's kind of something I've been dabbling with. There are other streamers that do that, and I really like the idea behind it. And so I'm like dabbling in my mind. I'm like, oh, is this something I want to promote? Is it because like once you open that, you kind of like can't close it, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't think that that's necessarily like a horrible thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting.
It could always just bring more audience to your channel too. Obviously, like they're seeing your stuff in a different way that's been edited, and they'll come back. They'll be like, "Oh, I wonder what the source material is." So you'll get other, you know.
I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. Like usually with like a TV show or a movie or something like that, where I'll see like a clip of it and be like, "Okay, I liked that. I would like to know the context of this," and then I'll go watch the thing. You know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a thought process, and like I like it because it's kind of like communal in that sense, because then like people end up becoming more interested in the content you're creating, because if they can also themselves monetize off of that, they gain that loyalty, because they're like, oh well, like they're creating content, they become invested. What Freeman said about, this is other content is being created that could theoretically lead to people visiting visiting Queuetimes live streams, or visiting Queuetimes VODs and watching the full clips or the full video instead of just watching the clips. So like that's kind of like a thought process I've been thinking about. The YouTube, the streamer that does this is Hassan Piker, who while very very handsome and very toxic masculinity, I love him very much. But yeah, I just like the idea.
That is really interesting. I'm still sort of like digesting that and trying to like turn it over in my mind, like, ooh, what would that look like? And it's just that's an interesting one. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some more time with that one to go like.
Yeah, that's why I've been milling it through my head so much lately, because it's like I like the idea, but like I said, you open that can of worms, like you can't really close it.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. Damn it, Jake.
Look, if I've done nothing, it's make you think,
I'm not even the one with the brain cell this month. With the singular rule of Lord brain cell. Who has that, by the way? Where's the
Thank you for loaning it out to me for the conventions. I'll pass that back now.
Okay, well, hold on. Actually, I have questions. Have you talked about your conventions on Ramblemancy? Because I don't want everyone to have to double hear, but I want you to know I'm interested to hear how they went.
I talked about them a little bit, I think, but if you've got questions, like I'm down to talk about them, because like
I just want an overview. How did you like one over the other? What was the weirdest thing that happened? Oh,
I already
that clicked a memory instantly.
A core memory unlocked. I think I told Lucas this story already offline, and I will censor the name, any relevant names, so that it is not clear who it was. But my two conventions that I did in August were Gen Con, the biggest tabletop board games convention of the year, and then Convergence here in the Twin Cities, which is much smaller comparatively. It's still pretty sizable, and Brie and I did a pretty good weekend there, running our booth, selling like games and art and stuff. So Gen Con, I was working the Possum Creek Games booth with like Jay Dragon, Ruby Lab, and Matthew Grappelin, a few other people selling some of my games and some of their games as well. And then Convergence, Brie and I were tabling together selling art and games. It's kind of the overview of what was going on. So at Gen Con, it was such a rush. I had such a good time, but like the weirdest thing that happened to me is like the only like bad customer experience I had all weekend was with somebody else who worked for a games company who visited the booth. It was so bizarre. Because I was standing there, and like when you're working a Gen Con booth, like you have like the various levels of like hard sell to just like soft pitch. Like somebody walks into your booth and is kind of perusing things, and you're like, hey, can I you want to hear more about anything? Can I talk to you about this? Just like the standard thing that anybody who is working a booth who is good at their job does, because it's I want you to buy my games because that's what pays for me to be in this space, and boy howdy is it expensive to rent this 10 by 10 space, let me tell you. Those booths, like to run a 10 by 10 space on the indie island, I think it cost one of the creators there, I think after hotel, the booth itself, and a few other, and not including like printing their product to bring to sell, it was like a cool $3,000.
Yeah. I mean, I bought tickets to Gen Con as soon as they were available, and then I went to go get a hotel, and I was like, oh well, fuck you.
Yeah, no, like the deal that I got, which is that Possum Creek gets me the exhibitor badge so that I can work for them, and then Possum Creek also pay for my hotel, and that's $1,500 for the week of the convention, and I'm like, that's a pretty good deal. Like, you didn't pay me to work the booth, but you did pay me to work the booth. Like, so, and of course I got a bunch of Possum Creek product at the end of the convention too, so which was very nice. But like, yeah, I mean that's a better deal than a lot of people who are getting paid, say like minimum wage to work the booth for the weekend, but aren't getting their accommodations comped are getting, because like even if you're getting paid, that to work the booth for what 6-8 hours a day, it still does not come out to what your hotel costs.
Yeah, I worked Gen Con 1 year, and it was the last year that they decided to do this. And I don't know why I agreed to do this, but I really wanted to go to Gen Con. So I went to Gen Con. They paid for my badge. And then at the end of it, I got like, depending on how many games I ran, I got X amount of money towards buying their product.
Oh, that's scummy.
Yikes.
Oh, that's scummy. Yeah. Oh man, no, I walked up to Jay at the end of the convention with an armful of books from the Possum Creek booth, and I was like, okay, can I buy these? And Jay was halfway, was like, no, hold on, take those. You've been working the booth the whole weekend. Take those. So it was very nice. Working for them was great, and I will very likely be doing it again next year if I'm not in my own booth. We'll see. But yeah, back to my only weird customer interaction. Like, so they came in and they had picked up a game off of one of the demo games that we had out up off the shelves, and they were looking at it. I think it was Clever Girl. And it was Mall Kids. It was Matthew Gravelin's Mall Kids, which we've run here on the channel before. And so I went up and I was like, are you interested in Mall Kids? And they looked back at me just like completely deadpan. I'm like, well, I'm holding it. It's just, whoa, dude, whoa. And I was like, fair enough, let me know if I can tell you about anything. Like, do you have any solo games? And I was like, okay, yeah, well, here we go. I was like, well, Clever Girl also right there is one of our solo games, and kind of gave him the pitch. And then like I looked over at one of the other people. I think this is the second day of the con, so I was like, Ruby, does Esoteric have any solo games in it? And they're like, yeah, it's got a couple in it. And Esoteric is a collection of, well, I can't actually tell you about Esoteric is the thing, because that's the rules of Esoteric. I've maybe said too much already. I'll get to that. That was my other favorite piece of marketing at our booth all weekend. I think I pulled this one on Hermes when he visited and gave me a hug and gifted me things. But yeah, no, so like I pointed him to Esoteric and he picks it up and he looks at it and he just like flipped to a random page, and he was like, this says you all get in a circle. This isn't a solo game. And then he just like sets it very like forcefully back down on the table and just walked out of the booth. And then as he walked out, I saw that he was wearing a t-shirt that was like one of the staff shirts from another games company. I was just like, what? You're doing what I'm doing here this weekend, buddy. You know what I'm doing.
Like, and the question you asked is so innocuous too. It's like getting mad about like this weather, right? Like,
yeah, true.
Yeah, I live in it. Yeah, what? Yeah, man. Like, what the?
Yeah, me too. Whoa.
Damn, yeah. All right. Breathe.
That was the only weird customer interaction that I had the whole weekend, and it was just infinitely amusing to me that it was somebody else who was working the convention that I had that interaction with.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But yeah, no, Esoteric is one of Possum Creek's games, and the front and back cover are just completely black, and then the inside of each of the insides of the covers are also just completely black, unmarked. And then like that first page that you see just has the word Esoteric written on it in like vertically. And then the inside is the inside. It has what it has in it. You can find it on Possum Creek's itch page. I promise this is an ad for them, but it's part of the rules of the game that I'm not allowed to tell you what the game is. But it was my favorite piece of marketing the whole weekend. Anytime somebody would come into the booth and ask just like what we had, I'd be like, oh yeah, we have one-page RPGs over here. And if you're familiar with like, Grant Howitt's Honey Heist, check out Mall Kids. And of course we have Wonder Home. They're like, yeah, I got Wonder Home in the Kickstarter and I have hardcover. I'm like, great. So check this stuff out. I can tell you about everything on this table except for that little black book. And they'd be like, what's that? And I'd be like, I can't tell you.
Ooh.
Can I look at it? Yeah, please do. Like, we encourage you to look at it. Like, we sold all 20 copies that we brought.
Yep, it's fucking
That's
incredible.
awesome.
I love that shit.
It's awesome. Such good nerd bait. Like,
Excellent.
Oh my god, what's that? I can't tell you.
Well, now I have to look at
Right,
it,
like-
you know? Like,
Yeah, I would say probably 70% of people who picked up Esoteric and read it went over and bought it. It was so good. Some people would just be like so confused that they were like, oh, maybe this is like some kind of strange arcanery that I am getting in beyond, my understanding because it's sitting next to the tarot decks. Oh God. And then some people would just be like, pick it up and read it. And
I
then,
think
like,
on
just
some
kinda...
level, on some like deep psychology level, it's like, oh, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. Like,
I know. Matthew Gravlin and I were both harassing Jay the whole week. And like, Jay, I need you every year to bring like 20 or 30 copies of this book so that Matthew and I can have our kicks selling it the whole week.
bring it exclusively for our entertainment. Like, that's...
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It just gets its own little like unmarked like there was just a price. Like everything else Ruby had done up like really cute little price tags that said like like Articles of the Arcana Tarot, however much it was, like Mall Kids bundle, and like written them up on little black pieces of paper with like white markers so that like it had a little cute little chalkboard feel and done little bits of like art major bullshit and all. Like everything looked very cute. And Esoteric was just a price. Like just a price like scratched onto like and even the font was just kind of like scrawled onto it on a very rough piece of like looking piece of cardboard that had just been like run over with black marker.
Perfect.
So good.
I like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So before we started, John was bugging me because I need to get John to start editing something for me, which is a game that I'm working on, which has zero title. The title is literally play test this game. So like like on my Google Drive, it's literally play test this game. So we talked a little bit about it, and the only reason I'm going to talk about it now is because it's going to force me to actually get it done, unlike every other project.
That's
that
right.
I do.
We're entering accountability hours here at Rule
Yes.
of Lore.
Yes. You see me on Twitter, bully me. I will. It is how I get things done. I grew up in a very toxic masculinity like home life where like when you'd go to the gym, it was like push it, but I don't care if you break your leg, just go. Okay, so I still to this day need that like fucking do it, bitch. Like I need that sometimes, you know? So the
just like we'll all take it in turns. Like today is odds day. Today is Hessen's day. Like we're just gonna Jake tweets something. One of us just goes, "How's the game coming, Jake?"
Exactly.
Just to illustrate how different of people that we are, Jake. Somebody in college once did that to me with a paper that I had to do. And like I never finished that paper. I actually had to email that professor and be like, "I'm not going to get this done. I'm sorry. Thank you for extending the deadline, but I'm not going to get this done." Like it wasn't even a conscious choice. Just like out of spite, like somewhere internally a switch flipped because one of my fucking peers, like, you don't fucking know better than me, right? Like, one of my peers was bullying me constantly, like, "Hey, Lucas, did you get that paper done?" Be like, "Hey, man, fuck you." Like,
you know what? Actually, do you know what it is for me at least?
mm-hmm.
It's because I get hyper focused on things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I hope that the bullying magically happens right at the start of a hyper fixation to get me to work on. That's really what it is. It's not that each time you bully me, I'm going to start working on it. No. I'm just hoping that when you bully me, it happens when I start hyper focusing on something, and then I get fucking 6 pages of fucking work done in 30 minutes. But that's the point of it. That's why the bullying happens. But okay, so the game system itself, I have sent it out to a couple of people to just get their basic opinions on it. But the idea behind it, or the basic premise of it, is that it is a system that you can easily take to any sort of genre that you want. If you want to do it high fantasy, if you want to do sci-fi, if you want to do zombies, if you want to do whatever, you can do it in any sort of system. And all you have to do is change some change some basic like blocks that are in the game. So the idea is that there are 30 skills, and with those 30 skills you have points from 0 all the way up to 20 in them. And whenever you do a thing, so for example, if you want to fight, there is a melee ability, right? And you roll a d20, and if you roll below the number of points that you have in that skill, you just succeed at that. So there isn't a, oh, well, his AC is blah, or she has this special, but no, it's just you succeed at X, or whatever you're trying to do. And the idea behind that is that it is a GM diceless game. So the GM will never roll dice. The GM will just say, okay, baddie attacks you, use your dodge ability. And that may vary from class to class. We are doing the opposite of what Dungeons and Dragons has recently been doing, which is when you choose an ancestry, there is nothing associated with that ancestry. You say you want to play a dwarf, guess what? You get the same amount of points an elf gets as a dragonborn gets, and you get a pool of points that allow you to choose what your character is. So for example, there are a number of hit points that you get, a number of skill points that you get to start the game off with, or special abilities like being able to be immune to poison or disease, or being able to what are some of the other ones? Oh, the first time you go down to 0 hit points in a day, you come back to 1 hit point. These are things that you get to choose with your pool of points at the very beginning of the game. So you can be a elf or you can be a dwarf, and you have those same abilities. And that would go the same for if you do sci-fi. The idea is that that's the block that you change. You change the names to whatever you want it to be, and the same skills and the same hit points still exist. If you want to have flavor to your ancestry background or your ancestry, features, that would be the block that you change, right? In the skills, there are 25 basic skills that go across all genres, and then there's 5 that change from genre to genre. I don't know why my dogs are going insane, but they are absolutely...
Oh, is that happening over there? I just thought it was my... Okay, crazy. I thought that was behind me.
No.
In the distance. I was going to ask Lucas. Okay, well, cool.
Yeah, no, that's my dogs going absolutely berserk. Yeah.
They have things to say. They have opinions about your game, Jake.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I don't get it. Anyways, so there's that. And then how it works is this is the part that I'm currently working on. And I actually have a poll up on Twitter right now asking about it, whether or not people like leveling systems, or if they like point buy systems like Vampire the Masquerade, where, hey, you get X amount of XP per game that you play, and you can spend those XP, and each thing costs a different XP. Those are your choices, and that's kind of what we're working on. But the idea is each time you level, once you choose a class, like say you pick Rogue, you
Speaking of Rogue,
they are not a rogue. They are very much not a rogue.
Fair.
Bree, hello.
Hey, Bree. So the idea is if you choose Rogue, instead of, at first level Rogue, you always get sneak attack, and your sneak attack improves on X amount of levels, right? The idea is at level 1, you have 30 options that are all Rogue specific. And at each level, you choose a new ability. And so you can go in a linear path where you go, okay, I want to get sneak attack, and I want to be able to do extra damage from behind, and I want to be able to poison my weapon. Or you can be like, I want to be a rogue, but I want to be able to, be stealthy instead. So I want to be able to get out of things, or I want to be able to get into things. And so we're taking about 5 abilities that match a specific archetype for a rogue, the damage rogue, the stealthy rogue, the charisma rogue, and that's the kind of idea behind it. That's like the base kind of idea. And so when you're building your game, the idea would be kind of like Powered by the Apocalypse, how you can take Powered by the Apocalypse and use that base system and just use it for any fucking genre you want. That's kind of the idea behind this. So there's my there's my more than 15-second elevator pitch.
It's more like that meme that's been going around lately of that person like hanging on the guy's shoulder and going like that, like at a concert or something like that, like yelling in his ear.
Yeah.
It's
that pitch.
That sounds really cool. I'm always a fan of like modular systems like that allow you to sort of like piecemeal your character together rather than like a certain list of prescribed like things. Because that's like one of the things that like Pathfinder, because I haven't played 2e, so 1e is what I have experience with. 1e and 3.5 had going for them is that like one rogue would never look like another rogue. The problem with those is that the differences were like minor differences. You know, like yes, technically one rogue would not look like another rogue, but like the differences between them are like kind of negligible and very hyper specific, and so yeah.
I'm very, very mad at you. How have you not let me run you a Pathfinder Second Edition game?
I don't know, Jake. I don't know how I don't know anything about Pathfinder Second Edition yet. I genuinely have no idea.
Look, you're allowed to not know, but how did you not be like, Jake should run me a game? Like I will run you three plus one more a fucking Pathfinder Second Edition game on Rule of Lore.
I think Bree is currently in the chat, like I think saying same. So like,
yeah,
because
definitely.
time is a finite resource. Jake, that's a fair point. Steve makes an excellent point.
That's true. However, time is also a weird soup. So like. And
I can pour soup into a lot of places, and my
true.
Schedule is
true. Soup
you know.
as a liquid fills the volume of the container that it is.
You know that you know that stupid fucking meme where they're like, oh, let me put rocks in the jar. Is the jar full? Oh, it is, kids. Oh, what if I put sand in it? Is it full now? Yes, it is full. Oh, what if I put water in it? It's like, bitch, it's full. Stop it.
No, but like, doubling back on the system, I do like the idea of this as like a genre neutral system, because it opens up you to honestly like publish the game basically with a set of base like play sets and playbooks. So you're like, okay, you like here each play set comes with a certain number of playbooks. So like, you know, your rogue, your cleric, your paladin, your fighter, your whatever. And like each of those have their component abilities associated with them, but then also you have like the play set, which is like the genre. So you're like, okay, so here's the base 25 skills that are in every game. Here's the die system. Here are the 5 skills that change when you alter it, and that's the playset. So like, here's your fantasy playset. Here's the 5 skills that come with the fantasy playset. Here's the other, like any like GM information, player information, like that kind of like, here are the themes of like your fantasy game and like anything else that the player needs to have. And then of course you can immediately shift from that and go like, all right, so fantasy playset is what we've got here. That's the base game. Now here's the sci-fi playset. Here's 5 different skills that instead of the fantasy one. So like Arcana becomes something else, becomes, you know, so I don't know. I like that because it's very easy for you to just like, to make modular content like that, to make like, okay, so here's the 5 playbooks that come with a genre, or the 10 playbooks or whatever it is. And here's the play set. And then also it opens it up very well to community creation too, because people can create their own playbooks, their own play sets very well. Because all you have to do is basically be like, okay, I have to make a set of 8, 9, 10 abilities that people can choose from across the life of their character, and I have to make up a skill that comes with that character that people can invest in.
That's a thing that, so you touched on something that I was just thinking about, which is the idea of like meaningful choices that you make even out of character, right? Meaningful choices that you make in terms of the development of your character, like as a set of mechanics. Yep. And I was thinking back to one of the things that I thought was so cool about Elder Scrolls Online when it came out was that like your skills increased as you used them, and you could have this weird hodgepodge. Like my first character that I fell in love with on ESO was a sorcerer that was like using heavy armor and like a restoration staff, but also like dabbled a little bit in conjuration. So I'd have a pet, right? Like a tanky pet. Right? Because I knew I wasn't going to be doing a lot of damage output. But what I could do was a hell of a lot of healing output. So like having a tanky pet was dope, right? And I like, it was not an efficient build at all, but I had so much fun with it. Like I just loved it. But the thing that I started disliking about Elder Scrolls Online is that after a while, like metas began emerging, right? Certain like accepted metas began emerging, and there are just these guides like, all right, here's how you build your optimized character. Here's how you do this. If you're gonna build this character, you're gonna do this, this, and this, and this, and like don't pick that because it's a useless skill. It's not gonna help you. And I'm just like, okay, but this, and that's so counter to how I play any video game. Like if I like, it's one of the reasons why I have a lot of difficulty playing like John, I'm not putting you on blast here, but I enjoy playing video games with John because it's fun and entertaining. There comes a point, however, where John starts playing video games the way that John plays video games, which is to like look up the optimal thing to do and like, here's okay, how do I make my numbers bigger? How do I do the thing correctly? Where do I go to find this specific thing? And like I like my approach to video games is like, I don't want to know shit. I just want to figure things. I don't want to know anything. The less I know, frankly, the better. Like
I have like playing video games with you over the years has
Mhm.
been good for me because I have evolved from like I want to make just like purely like I want to make number big to
Mhm.
like I want out of my gameplay experience, I want my personal gameplay experience to feel the way that I want it to feel. And once it does that, I don't want to know jack shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with
exactly.
that's where I'm at with Destiny right now. Like
Mhm.
my goal is make thing go boom.
Yeah,
And now that
like,
I can
I
do
have this
that, I
very
don't care.
specific idea of what I want my character to be able to do, and once my character can do that, I don't want to know anything else. Everything else,
Mhm.
I'm gonna find out by accident. Like, like, and so like that's kind of a little bit what you're talking about here. I think in your system, Jake, is that sort of like meaningful choices and discovery approach to
Yeah.
character creation and like advancement as well.
Yeah, because the thing is like the thing I love about Pathfinder Second Edition is the fact that it does have so many choices, but they're very level restricted choices. And so when I was playing, when I was like coming up with this, I was like, I want to get rid of that. I want to be able to just do whatever the hell I want. And I mean, playing Monster Heart, that's basically how Monster Heart works. Like, hey, once you level up, you get to choose a new ability, right? And you're like, oh, cool, I get a new ability, and I get to choose any of these like 5. But the problem I had with Monster Heart was there was only 5, you
Mhm.
know.
Right.
And so that was my biggest issue, is that there was only 5. And so I'm just like, okay, there's so much more in fantasy that you can do, and so I want more. I want more
Yeah,
options.
see,
Give
and
me more.
and I love that 'cause, like I in literally every aspect of my life, if you know me even a little bit, you know that I like weird combinations of stuff. I like weird genre mashups. I like weird flavor combinations in my food. Like I
Sure.
like all kinds of I like things that don't seem like they should work together but somehow do. Like those are
Mhm.
my favorite things. Like I love that. And so the idea of being able to just sort of hodgepodge a character together, be like, this doesn't make sense on the surface. However, and then just like being able to like put that together is actually extremely appealing to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I want people to be able to play the way that they want to play. Like one of the ways I like to GM a game is not so much like, okay, here's encounter 1, here's encounter 2, here's encounter 3, right? The way I like to GM is I like to find out what the player made their character cool at, and then give them opportunities to be cool at the thing that they wanted to be cool at. So if they're a social person, guess what? I'm going to put social encounters in there.
Yeah.
They did damage. Cool. I'm going to put a big baddie in front of them so that they can do some max damage. You know, sure, we don't get to do everything every episode, but like I'm going to make sure that everyone has moments to shine. And with this, there's no way else other than to GM that way, because like it's such a plethora like of like how players are going to be. Like some of the abilities that I have are like literally like, hey, you can just take the damage from an ally. Just like, hey, someone got hit, I'm gonna take it.
It's like, did you get hit? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to also like simplify it in the sense that like, because D&D, because the first playbook that I've made is fantasy, and that's because I know fantasy the best, right? And it's
Mhm.
the easiest fantasy, or it's the easiest genre for me to work in. So I I I have worked in that genre, and it's very interesting to like come up and realize that there are very like distinct archetypes within everything, and it's very easy to kind of just pull from them, you know.
Mhm.
And because it's so the idea behind it is so wide an array of like ideas of like what you would be playing. You can't always, it can't be linear as a GM. Like you can't be like, oh well, all wizards are going to do this. Well, no, because this wizard, instead of choosing here's an ability I wrote: add half your arcane score to all damage. Instead of taking that, they decided to give up a movement to make attack that hits everyone in a close range. Like, and because like D&D and stuff like that are so tactile of like, oh well, I'm 15 feet away, blah blah blah. Everything that I've done in this is like 3 range increments. It's long, medium, and melee range. Right. And that's just where everyone is. And you just say, I want to move into this range. So it gets rid of the overly complicated like war game aspect and just kind of makes it a free form system.
It's really interesting because you're mentioning about like, sort of looking at what players, how they build their characters, and like then trying to give them the thing that that is a realization that I've had recently of why I find it so difficult to make characters that I am going to be playing in somebody else's game, because I'm always like, and like maybe this is something that's like probably should be somewhat, and I've seen it in some cases, particularly in like applications for like actual plays where I'll see people like saying like, oh, what aspects are appealing to you in a TTRPG, right? But like, so I think part of that is just like not knowing the expectations. But I think genuinely for me, one of the things that's so difficult is like, look, I am a very different player than I am a GM. As a player, I'm like, as a GM, I'm just like, all right, well, every story has an arc. There's ups and there's downs, and there's going to be these moments where you're going to feel really cool, and there's going to be these moments where it feels not so great. But the point is, it all serves the narrative. As a player, I'm like, big number, let's go. Like, fuck you, let's go fuck them up. Like I'm going to fight everyone. Like, as a player, right? Like, that's what I want to do. I want to make a character that's good at fighting. But the reality is, coming into a game that somebody else is running, I don't know what kind of game it's going to be. Is it going to be focusing on this? Is it going to be focusing on combat? Is it going to be focusing on social sort of stuff? Is it going to be focused more on like a kind of political intrigue kind of thing?
Yeah.
And I'm always end up torn between making the character that I will find fun to play and then the character that will actually be useful in the game that we're playing.
Right.
And that's such a like, I realize that is always the difficulty that I have with making characters, and it's one of the reasons it takes me fucking forever. I'm so sorry to any of you that ever have me as a player in your game, because except for in very rare circumstances, I am going to be that player that's going to give you my character sheet like the day we play. I'm gonna be like, hey, I made a character finally, because I finally,
well, and I want to make the game even harder for you. And the reason I'm saying that is I want each of the abilities to be so interesting that like every time you level, it's a difficult choice because you're like, oh, this would be good, but oh, this would also be good. Yeah. But it's like, so like for the fighter, right? Like when you get a class book, it tells you, okay, this is how many skills you have, and this is how many skills you get per level. This is how much your health is, and this is how much damage you just do, right? And what's your range? And you can choose, like, for example, the fighter is a melee fighter that their default damage is 4 plus their level, and their range is reach, right? That is their range. Now at first level, you can go, okay, well, I can make it so that I use my melee to defend instead of dodge. Because I'm such a trained fighter, I'm using my sword and I'm using my melee ability to block that. That's really cool. Or I can treat your defensive stats like it were too higher and become be super tanky, or you can heal for twice your level. Like that would be kind of interesting. Like have that second wind. Or do you want to be that damage person? You want to change your melee damage from 4 plus your level to 6 plus your level, and you just hit more? Or do you want to make 2 different melee attacks on your turn? Like, I want each level to be interesting, not just like, oh, I can't wait till I get to next level so I can get this one ability. It's, I can't wait to get to the next level so I've got to choose one of these fucking cool abilities that I'm really interested in getting. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm already doing some good damage. So like being able to use I can focus just putting skill points in melee. But then like, oh, it'd be really good. Like I want those to be very interesting choices for people to make.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
Odds.
I just want to say, Allison, first of all, Allison, you don't have to worry because I've already made the character for your game. So, like, you don't need to worry. You don't need to be worried about that. See, that's why I said, except for in rare cases, I get really, like, anxious about. Anyway, I already made the character for your game, so you don't have to worry about any of this. And Stormbringer, you did miss the big news, but we'll go back over it because we'll go back over it. Don't worry.
We'll go back over it at the end so that we catch people who came in the middle. Odds also made it interesting. I think it might. I can't remember if it was you, Jake, or me or Matthew who asked about the system where players can spend tokens, but the GM gets them, so then the GM can do stuff. I think that might have been Matthew Gravelin earlier on today, but I think that's also an interesting concept that I like, that I think has potential in here, because just like, since the GM's not rolling any dice, it would be cool to have like a playbook of GM moves that cost them tokens. So like players spend tokens to activate some of their abilities that are particularly strong, or just not even spend them, but give the GM a token in order to do some of these things, and then that gives the GM in turn fuel
John.
to.
I understand that you're making like a actually valid, good point here and having an idea or whatever, but like I immediately my brain went to, you've activated my trap card. I'm so sorry.
GM.
I'm so sorry for this like garbage meme brain that I have tonight.
No, it's
excellent.
Listen,
No,
that would my brain is like 40% all-time low lyrics, so like.
But I like that idea. Like, instead of inspiration, right? Like every player starts with a token where they go, hey, I just want to instead of rolling, or maybe I failed a roll and I use my token and I automatically succeed whatever this roll is, right? But by doing that, the GM then gets that token and can use it on anyone, and whoever they use it on, they then get the token that, and so if every player really wants to succeed, the GM might sit there with 5 tokens and just be like, cool, I'm going to spend all 5 of these tokens to screw one person over. You know what I mean? Like, but like that, yeah, that'd be really interesting. Or like the tokens would do the opposite where, oh yes, you succeeded, but I'm going to use that token that you gave me earlier to make it so that you actually fail this roll.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Like there's a generic use for it. Like everyone has a few generic like token moves that they can do, like re-rolling or adding or giving like a flat bonus to somebody else or something, like, or like giving somebody else a re-roll. And then like each class, and just because I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14, each playbook has its own has its own limit break, so to speak, like the same that Final Fantasy does, where like each roll has a limit break that does something else different, a powerful thing that only one person can use per dungeon. Every time when it's charged up, that anyway, but like
you're like, oh, is it worth the reroll, or should I use my like cleric ability where I can tap into a god and the god does a special thing.
Like I can spend my token to divine intervention right now, but should I re-roll because that means I can't divine intervention? So
see,
like
I as a GM, I like stuff like that in concept. But the thing that I always run across with stuff with like mechanics like that is I'm always like, okay, but where does my purview as the GM to decide things happen end? And the purview of the tokens and moves begin, right? Like, it's like, where is my limitation, and is there one? And if there isn't one, then why have the tokens? And like, that's the thing that always like in Star Trek Adventures, one of the ways that they do that is they have very specific things that the GM has threat that they can spend to like change a variety of things, but it does very specific things. So you can like add a condition to the scene that will affect everything that happens within that scene, or you can increase like the potential like complication range of a specific role for a player, or you can spend threat to like add more bad guys, to like, oh look, more people came in, right? Like that kind of stuff. And I think like that is helpful to me in those circumstances. But if it's all purely kind of like narrative or situational, then I struggle as a GM with those kinds of things, going like, okay, but where does my GM fiat come in, and where does that begin and end, and where does the token thing begin and end?
This is funny because further proving you and I are not the same person. I feel almost the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, because so to me, when if I'm a GM, right, and I've got threat, or in Outbreak Undead, I've got like a pool of points that I can spend to add more enemies, right? But then, like, why don't I just add more enemies? I am the fucking GM. Like, like, oh, guess what? The ship is, or like there's an earthquake. I'm the GM. I literally can just do that. The thing I like about, at least what John was talking about the coin, is like them being specific things, like the player getting to use it to automatically succeed a roll. And since at least in this game, the GM's never rolling. So in this situation, oh, you've given me that token, I can now make it so that your successful roll automatically fails. So it's not, it's something that I as a GM do not have control over, because I can't control their dice. But me being able to go, oh, yes, you succeeded, but it's really important to me that you fail. So I'm going to use this token that you have given me to make you fail, because...
And like, I think I agree with you in principle. Like, I think, like, I guess what I was trying to say is that, like, I do not exist in the middle of the spectrum. I either need hyper specific things I can do with it, or like no direction whatsoever. Like, I can't existing in this. Like, that's one of the reasons why Powered by the Apocalypse games, I'm sorry to everybody who likes them, I am not a fan, because I can't get them to make sense in my mind, because there's like just enough direction that it's like telling you there's specific things that you can do, but not enough direction, like enough, like, but also so much leeway that it's just like, hey, do whatever you want, but also here's some very hyper specific things that you can do in specific cases. And it's like, I don't exist in that spectrum. You either tell me what I can and can't do, or don't tell me shit. And like, I am fine with either of those. But like in the middle, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
And see, I don't like Powered by the Apocalypse because they have sex moves, and I think that's weird.
That's news to me.
That's Monster Hearts, I believe.
No, it's not. It's not just
not
Monster
just
Hearts.
Monster Hearts.
Core Powered by the Apocalypse. Core Powered by the Apocalypse has sex moves.
Wow.
It is fucking awkward. It is fucking terrible. I hate
weird.
it.
I hope that there's a fantastic section about consent in the front of that.
Well, as weird as a place as this is, I think this is kind of the end of our episode, so we should go back over our announcements for everybody who wasn't here at the top. So for everybody who wasn't here at the beginning, we did announce that this October we are pre-recording, scheduling, and then premiering on YouTube. Just underlining YouTube because this is the first time we're doing that. We will be airing a Kids on Bikes short shot that is taking place during a zombie apocalypse. So it's a story about a bunch of teens who, many of whom have graduated from high school, and in sort of like the last hurrah before they all go off their separate ways, go on a camping trip, and have that camping trip rudely interrupted by the apocalypse, and then have to figure out what to do, and how to, what to do. So in many ways, it's it's a sort of very character focused. It's very sort of survival focused, and also sort of, it's got some coming of age themes in there as well. So and to that end, we did have a special treat for everybody, which is that we are showing the title sequence, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited about it. I've been sitting on it forever, so I'm gonna play it again because it's great. So here we go. I'm gonna do it right now. Okay. Anyway, that was that.
So when you filmed the zombie hands hitting the window, was that just you and Friedman laying on top of each other?
We were in really deep shit at that point.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Honestly, like, it was just such an awkward, like, standing there. Like, we had to get several step stools and put them on top of each other to like just be able to get up. And then we're like, hey, why don't we just use a ladder? And then anyway, it was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
But yeah, so we got Sorry, what were you saying, John?
No, I was just gonna say, like, seeing we've seen Allison in chat, Bree's also here now too, and just like I have to compliment one of my co-stars, the absolute magic that is just Bree and I acting at each other. So much fun.
Bree, uh, might be the only player I've ever had in a game who succeeded in breaking my heart 3 times in one session. Uh, it was
Real good at it.
it was a lot. It was incredible.
We were decompressing later after that session. She was like, I saw Lucas wipe away a tear at one point when we were doing those scenes, and she was like, yes, I succeeded.
So I saw a question here. Odds. It will premiere live on YouTube, but then it will just be there on YouTube to watch when at your leisure. Yes. So that will be Mondays in October, starting on Monday, October 3rd, and the final episode will be Monday, October 31st, aka Halloween. So yeah, we will have that will be happening is at 6 p.m. will be the air times for that, and when you can catch it live, the live premiere on YouTube, and hang out and chat much like you would here on Twitch, or you can watch it at your leisure if you cannot make that time. Yeah, it'll be and you may even, as the case may be, you may even find some of the cast in the chat at times watching during the live premieres. So yeah. We're super excited about it, and right now we're in the process of I'll sort of tip my hand here. We're in the process of also scheduling an after show, which we would like to do live. So that will not be pre-recorded. We'd like to do that live so that y'all can ask questions and whatever, because we were talking about it after our last recording, and we're like, you know what? If anything on this channel has deserved or needed an after show, it's Tomorrow is Dead. So because there's so much behind the scenes like character work that went into these characters and these choices that it just informs every moment of it, that like I really want the players to be able to talk about those things. So because I don't know that you get to see all of them on screen all the time. So yeah.
Truly, like, this show does deserve just a little time for everybody for everybody to like unpack a lot of the things that went into their characters, because what we see in each of the sessions is truly the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very excited about it. I'm excited for all y'all to see it. But yes, and just to restate, it will be on YouTube and not on Twitch. So yeah.
Spamming our YouTube.
So yeah, Jake, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Last minute, the best way we've ever gotten a guest on the channel.
So cool.
It's true. We will never get a guest in a more fun way than this.
Look, I literally was like, when was the last time I was on? I'm gonna harass them so that I can come back on eventually. I was not expecting tonight. But you know what?
Yeah,
fuck it.
Absolutely. No, this is great. I love that. So yeah, Jake, thank you so much for coming, hanging out. It's always a blast chatting with you. Everybody, this, as I said, is sort of, we will not be back next week. It just became too logistically complicated to make that work. So this is actually going to be our last stream until a couple months from now. Like, at the earliest, it'll be sometime late October, but it might be later. Then we might be moving into November territory. We'll let you know, obviously. But if you want to keep track of that and us, and keep interacting and talking about stuff, you can
maybe play Conan Exiles with us.
And maybe play Conan Exiles with us. They just had the sorcery update is live. So like, you come join us in our Discord, which you can see right there in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's down there in the description.
That's right. I put it there, I think.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, Freeman definitely put it in the description. That's definitely in there.
Hold on. Before we go, are any of you planning on playing Grounded?
You know what? It's been one of those things that's on my list for a really long time. It's exactly the kind of game that is up my alley, but I just like have never been able to justify it. So like, you know,
are you asking for a justification?
I don't know, Jake. Are you asking to give me one?
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I plan on streaming it and playing it over on Queuetimes. So I'm looking for, because you can have like 4 people playing on at the same time, and they just added shared worlds, so I can put like different people on as like shared partners in the world, and so they can actually go in and play when I'm not there. And so I'm not telling you have to play the game. I have had it for a very long time.
I think you are telling me that, Jake.
I'm not saying shit, okay? All I'm saying is I will be playing it, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it with other people. And if it is something that you're interested in and you end up getting it, I would love to play with you.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Lucas, remember this.
Yeah, just gonna squirrel it away back in the in my little goblin horde of a brain. Like,
this all gets me thinking, right? About like speaking about Tomorrow is Dead and like zombies and whatever. If you have just learned about Tomorrow is Dead today on Ramblemancy, you could have learned about it earlier this week over on our Patreon. All of our patrons learned about this announcement on Monday. Usually when we do advanced stuff, there's sometimes we put it out there even earlier than that. So like if you don't know, if you just learned tonight, you could have known about it for much longer and had bragging rights over everybody else. I don't recommend doing that. That's kind of a toxic trait, and I don't think we're not like that here.
Fucking make it toxic. Be toxic sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah. It's the opposite of like toxic positivity. It's positive toxicity, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a level of toxicity, right? Like it's like pH level of what's like toxic, saying, hey, if you were also a patron, you would get this really cool information. I can't tell you what that cool information is, but like I just found out this really cool information.
I'm sorry.
I can't tell you what's in this game book, but if you read it, maybe if you buy it.
Yeah, I love what Nico just said. Could have learned about it yesterday when it was still alive.
Hired
Tomorrow
brand
may
manager.
be dead, but yesterday was still alive, and y'all missed out. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
wow.
That you could support us there on Patreon. You get access to all kinds of good stuff, and which I will not go into right now because you got to go find out for yourself. You can check it out and see if Patreon is right for you. That's what I got right now. You are, as we talked before, YouTube, our entire back catalog of streams and TTRPG stuff is over there on YouTube. So if you haven't seen any of it, you can go watch Ramblemancy, Infinite Horizon, In Too Deep, It Came from the Loop, one of the other shows that we've done. It's over there.
That was an Avatar thing we did.
That's right. That's right. Our Avatar collaboration with Republic City Rumble with Queuetimes. We collaborated with Queuetimes.
Yep. That was good.
Our Mall Kids charity one shot.
Yeah.
In which the one and only Omar Najam created Mecha Mall Mayor.
That was Keith. Keith did Mecha.
Oh, that was
Mayor.
Keith.
Yep.
Okay, I thought. All right, that was Keith.
Yeah. Omar in that one created that incredible GIF. That GIF was like the hey, hi, hey, hello, hi.
It's amazing to me because that is a little bit the character that he's playing on like A Court of Fey and Flowers right now, and it kills me every time that he starts doing like that thing because I'm just like, I remember when you did this.
It's amazing. So yeah, you get our entire back catalog over there. There's technically the Goblin game that Jake ran is technically over there, but it is not live and visible, and I sort of dropped the ball on that one. So you know what?
Yeah, me too.
We'll look, Jake, don't at me. Dude, just
look. There are more than one episode of shows that we have done that are not visible to anyone but myself right now. Yeah. So like,
it's one of those things where like I forgot about putting it live, making it live, and then it wasn't Christmas anymore, and it wasn't the holiday season anymore. But
look, December's right around the corner.
It is.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, right back around.
You know,
you can if you wait until December, you can watch me take a giant bite of jalapeno cheese.
It's so good.
Jake,
you killed me.
I was so not ready in that game for you to have a whole fucking charcuterie board on your desk in front of you. Like somehow that bit got me every time because I would think surely surely he cannot have more.
Yeah.
And then you would reach into your fucking pocket and pull out salami. And I'd be like, okay, he's got pocket salami. How many more pockets have dried meats in them?
I know Lucas is trying to end, but I have to tell one small story.
Go for it.
I shit you not. I have that same suit jacket. I wore it months later, and I was like, why is there a fucking cookie in my pocket?
Yeah.
I'm glad it was the cookie and not the pocket meat.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Cheese for that matter. Yeah.
Just
Wow.
I'm sorry, Lucas. I'm distracting. I
absolutely.
apologize.
No,
I
it's great.
apologize.
But
incredible.
We love it.
Yeah,
we love it.
But it's just a whole thing, right? Like I didn't put it out in time, and
You
then
don't
it was
need to
not-
justify it to
then
me,
then it
bro.
wasn't Christmas anymore, and nowadays, if you put anything even remotely holiday related out ahead of time, people get mad at you. They're like, "What about Halloween?" And I'm like, you know what? I agree with you. So it's coming out soon.
I can't with the cookie.
Mhm.
All right,
No, the
everybody.
cookies.
We will see you in October for Tomorrow is Dead, the premiere of Tomorrow is Dead. I'm very excited for y'all to see it. But if not, we will see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night and good zone.